At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right. Welcome everybody. This one again. Here we go. Another tough game to It's not been a good ride so far. Arkansas is going to fall to 1-4 in conference play. Haven't done that in a while, not since 2018-2019 season, I believe. Let's get this thing started. 3, 2, 1, yo. Shout out to Patreon supporters. For anyone that's new here and you're wondering why you can't comment, you have to be a subscriber. We switched that over to help deal with bots. So we had to make that change. I'm kind of just seeing how it goes. We first started doing that on Friday. So if you want to chat, if you want to be a part of the conversation, you have to hit the subscriber button. We're going to take a poll here in a little bit. Shout out again to Patreon supporters and, of course, to our sponsors, Direct Service Overhead. Give them a call today if you need repair work done on your garage door, if you need your garage door replaced, 501-244-3667. Apex Tattoo Studio. If you want to get set up for ink, give them a call, 479-278-2694, located on 615 West Oak Street, Rogers. They will be moving here soon, so just a heads up on that. And then, of course, to our most recent sponsor, The Odd Soul. Craft beer pizzeria. Oof. This Nitro Pepsi is getting to me. It's hitting me already. Odd Soul located on Emma Street. I'm telling you, fantastic pies. Absolutely fantastic pies. And they have a lot of good stuff, a lot of local stuff on tap as well. Good IPAs. All right. Yeah, okay. Make sure you like. I know everyone's pissed off. I know everyone's a little upset about what they saw, or downright just pissed off. Downright mad. Downright angry. But hey, don't take it out on me. Hit the like button, share the content, subscribe again if you're new. Hog Dog says feels like watching a funeral. They have not started off this poorly since Mike Anderson was the head coach, I believe, if I looked at that right. I think even Muss's first season was started off a little bit better than this. 2019-2020, they started off, yeah, I mean, they beat A&M January 4th. They lost to LSU on the road, and then they won the next two games. Conference play at Ole Miss, at Vandy. 2020-2021. They beat Auburn on the road. They lose a couple to Missouri and Tennessee. I remember a lot of people thought the sky was falling. They beat Georgia. They finished. They at least won 50% of those games of their first four conference play games. Fast forward to this season, though. Not good. Not good. Arkansas is they're gonna fall at the bottom of the conference again, 1-4 right now. They're the only 1-4 team or the only 1-4 team currently in the SEC. Mississippi State's at 1-3. LSU's at 1-3. By the way, your LSU's only SEC victory. By the way, you become Vanderbilt's second SEC victory. The only team right now worse than Arkansas in conference play at the moment is Ole Miss. So again, we've got games left to play. That was some of the worst defense I have ever seen. I don't even know that Mike Anderson's teams had some rough years defensively. that was some of the worst defensive basketball I've ever watched. Mizzou, and yeah, they made some contested shots, but they did a good job of creating their own looks outside on the perimeter. Yeah, I don't know. At this point, I just don't know what to say. Now, Discord got chippy. People were talking about how the officiating was 90% of the problem. No, it was not. No, it was not. Officiating was bad. Guys, I don't know what to tell you anymore. That is just the norm. This is SEC officiating. It's horrible. Vanderbilt probably didn't like those technicals in the first half and the fact that Arkansas got 7 straight free throws. Extended your lead to 10 points. You had a 10-point lead on 2 different occasions and found a way to still muck this thing up. I do think officiating certainly played a role because it always does. I don't know that there is a game anywhere in basketball where officiating doesn't at least take on some kind of role, doesn't affect the game to some capacity, some just more than others, and that is the SEC, but that is not the majority of the reason why you lost this game. It was the individual effort on the floor. I thought Anthony Black looked like pure shit defensively. Council, name a player that played. Pinion got blown by pretty easily. We've always known he's been a little suspect defensively. Devo was about the only guy that really on the floor I thought played pretty well. I thought Devo was, I'm talking about on the defensive side of the ball, without his effort in the second half, he was trying to be the guy. We always talk about who's going to be the guy. He certainly was trying to be the guy in the final minutes. Unfortunately, the rest of the team, I don't know if they just hit the off switch. Some people are going to point to coaching. A lot of people want to point to officiating. I think it's D, all the above. I think it was all just gross. It was all nasty, and it was some of the worst basketball. The officials taking that many trips, that many times to review a call on the floor. I swear to God, I bet they spent 20 minutes of this basketball game, going to the table, looking at video. How do you keep momentum in a basketball game when it did feel like the officials were making this about them? They certainly. I'm not going to sit here and argue with anybody if you want to put this on them disrupting the flow of this game. That's always the case, and it was bad. I don't know how you're a Vanderbilt fan and you watch that and not think either way on the floor. Boy, the officiating really feels like they're making this about themselves. I at this point, I don't know what to tell you. I will say at the moment, until I see Arkansas get this fixed, I don't know where to put them. And we were here last year when they went 1-3, and I said, I don't know. I think I even recall saying I'm going to take them out of the tournament until they prove otherwise. I feel like I'm there. I don't know that this team is going to the tournament, man. With or without Nick Smith, it seems to me like the problems on the floor outweigh even someone like Nick Smith. You think you're going to plug Nick Smith in and fix all this? He is definitely a king on the chessboard. He is definitely a huge piece. He's going to be a big lift if he even comes back. But is he going to solve all the issues that this team has? Defensively, they have been wildly inconsistent. Horrible free throw shooting team. Now today they turned something around. I wasn't so sure we would see their perimeter play on the offensive end of the floor. This is the best 3-point game I think they've played all year, period, or one of the best. Outside shooting was pretty damn good. I don't know what it is. Teams seem to be able to hit the on button pretty easily on Arkansas. They seem to be able to hit the offensive button, and I think sometimes it's just individual matchups on the floor that there are some weak pieces on the floor for Arkansas defensively. That's why it just feels so wildly inconsistent. Vanderbilt, you have to tip your cap. They played, this got personal for them. I think it definitely changed the way that the end of the first half went. This became a much more personal game for Vanderbilt. I think that also played a role in this. It kind of, that you can't tell me anyone who ever played any degree of sports, whether it was junior high, high school, whatever, you can't tell me that they went in that locker room not going in pissed and Stackhouse not rallying the troops. And now the emotions got involved. Now they've got someone who sat on the bench for almost the entire first half with 2 fouls. He came in and affected this game big time. That also was a massive part of this a big part of this loss was them not being able to key in on one guy, and the matchups just weren't there. And then that one key guy also knocked down a three, was hitting everything. They couldn't, and I'll say this, it felt like, too, they couldn't touch Robbins. They couldn't touch that cat without getting called for a foul. But at the same time, he was doing a good job of shaking guys loose, making shots, knocking down that outside three, getting to the free throw line, doing what he needed to do. He came in. He's the guy that Arkansas has been looking for all year. Someone just come in and completely dominate on the floor on both ends of the floor. Vanderbilt has that guy ready to go, and that's exactly what happened. I didn't care for Anthony Black's. I didn't care for his play. He was good on the offensive end of the floor. I kind of thought, listen, I know that that's something that people have a problem with, is his mouth. I honestly, can you go too far? Yeah, if he really was going to their bench and making the crying face or whatever it was, okay, that's not my cup of tea. But if you want to do a little on the floor shit talking, I don't have a problem with that, because it happens. Everyone does it. Anthony Black is becoming the villain of the SEC, but maybe not necessarily for all the reasons that you think. Now, he can turn it on pretty quickly. He can put the points up. He can do his thing. He can put points up on the board pretty quickly. He can drive the lane. We've seen him at times knock down the outside look. Not often, not consistently enough, but defensively today, I thought he looked horrible. I thought they all looked bad outside of Devo, and even I thought Devo got shook loose a couple of times. Arkansas's got a big problem right now. If I'm a betting man, even let's say they do get Nick Smith, I have a hard time putting him in the tournament. I really do. I'm not hitting. I don't know, man. I mean, Nick is a huge piece. If, again, major emphasis there, right? If he comes back. But, boy, you're putting a lot on that guy's shoulders. And if you think that he's going to come in and fix all the issues that this team has, guys, I mean, I don't know. He is a lottery pick. Look, he's talked about as a top 5 pick. Maybe he can be that guy. But it's going to take more than just Nick Smith, in my opinion. I really do. I thought Graham came in and played and looked not very good defensively, but that's no surprise. Graham has not been a very good defensive player. This was the worst defensive game, I think, in Eric Musselman's career as a head coach at Arkansas. It was bad. It was really bad. It just felt like a perfect storm. The crowd got a little bit more. They got a little bit more into it after that first half. The team got more into it. Vanderbilt did. They felt the effects. The momentum swayed in their direction. They came out and they just hit Arkansas in the mouth, and Arkansas could never recover. Look, we're not all going to agree on everything, but I will tell you that I believe we all agree that there are numerous things that need to be fixed with this team. Now, I sat here and told you guys for weeks, I feel like Arkansas is going to they're going to get it turned around. And I still think that's on the table for them. Musselman is just too. You say what you want about him. I've got someone on Twitter who's already saying that we're blinded by Musselman or whatever. Back-to-back Elite Eights, starting out 1-3, finding a way to become one of the top 2, top 3 teams in the SEC the last couple of years. Again, going on these long March runs that he's gone on, that's not easy to do. I certainly think he has it in him again, but this year presents, I think he has more problems and more of an uphill climb than he's ever had. And because of that, it is very hard right now to tell if this team can get it really turned around. You still have some talent on the floor. You have more talent than almost every team that's beaten you so far this year, outside of probably Alabama. And people have told me, I think you're wrong, Ty. I think Arkansas does have more talent than Alabama. The difference is they're just clicking. They've found their flow. Arkansas just hasn't found it yet, and maybe there's truth in that. But they have the talent. The problem is, or I guess the biggest question is, do they have the pieces? And I just don't know. Hey, we have a member. I've been flirting around with that member option. I appreciate you, Roy Davenport. Thanks, man. Yeah, that's something new too. I'm just trying to make some changes for 2023, and that's one of them, along with muting for only allowing subscribers the ability to chat. So again, you've got to be a subscriber. Let me read your comments. I realize some of you probably don't agree with me. You're pissed at me. All I can do, look, I'm a commentator. I can give you my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I still think this team has it in them to get this turned around. I do think Musselman, listen, that's not just me saying that. That's listening to these analysts at ESPN, CBS, you name it. They think very highly of Eric Musselman. He has proven. I think he's given us the reason why he deserves the benefit of the doubt. He deserves some credit, and he deserves, look, when we look at this season, it just may be too big for him to fix. The problems on the floor might just be too big for him to fix. Too many things to correct. Maybe they'll figure it out, but you've got to hope that it's not too late. Again, 1-4 in conference play. I don't know what that number looks like, but tell me a Power 5 team that starts off 1-4. I mean, I'm sure there's some teams that make it to the tournament, but how poor is their seeding? Where are they at there, right? Yeah, he did the cry thing to the bench. See, I'm not about that. I'm not about that. That's a level of shit talk. No, I wouldn't do that. Listen, 6th grade flag football. All right, we had this play illegal as hell, but for whatever reason, they let us do it. It's called the center pass. I hiked the ball. I played center in 6th grade at Jefferson Elementary, 1996. I hiked the ball. I pretend like I'm blocking, then I run downfield, and I catch a touchdown over Root Elementary. I'll never forget it. It was in the playoffs. I turned around. I told them I did the sniff. I said, "It smells like burnt toast." And I mean, everyone at Jefferson loved it. All the players in the huddle were cracking up. The Root kids were pissed. All right? I've been known to shit talk. Pick up ball, you name it. Back when I wasn't fat and I could actually play pick up ball. All right? I've been known to shit talk. I don't mind a little shit talk, getting a little rough. I'm not about going over to the bench and doing the cry face or whatever it was that they're accusing AB of. That might just not. That's not in my. That's. And I'm not trying to pass judgment on the kid. Emotions were involved in this game. I'm sure Vanderbilt was doing their own fair share of shit talking for sure. This thing got chippy. It felt like a rivalry game, and it's not one. Listen, Stackhouse is 2-0. I mean, he's got Musselman's number. Is that what's going on? Is that what this is? It's just Stackhouse, his style of play, his style of coaching, and the players on the field and on the floor. Maybe those matchups just matter more than we realize, even though Arkansas has a plethora of talent. Maybe that's what this is, and we're maybe overreacting. I don't know. I don't think anyone's overreacting. You just gave up 97 points. I don't care if it was neutral floor, on the road, or at home. You just gave up 97 points. And Vanderbilt is a good 3-point offense. They're a good offense. They're overall, they're a top 5, top 4 offensive basketball team in the SEC. That is true. But Arkansas's defense, getting to know Musselman over the years, he is a defensive-minded guy. We know that now. We know that now more than ever. Well, I say now. I shouldn't say that. Last year, we figured that out, just how great he was at finding the right matchups defensively for Arkansas over the years. This year, they're wildly inconsistent on the defensive end of the floor. I don't think anybody's overreacting. I think giving up 97 it's atrocious. It was horrible. I think it was bad. I thought the coaching was shit. I thought it was all bad. It was just all bad. It was one of the worst games I've seen Arkansas play. On the offensive end, they did find a way. Devo mostly there in the second half. Let's look at these stats really fast. I mean, look at Vanderbilt. They shot 29 of 56 field goal percentage there, right? Almost 52%. They were at 3-point range. Here's where they killed you. They were 55%, 10 of 18. The looks, almost, I would say the vast majority of their looks were pretty open. They were almost 81% at the free throw line. They shot 29 of 36. Yeah, keep telling me officials didn't play a role in this game. Keep telling me that. 36 attempts at the free throw line for Vanderbilt. Wright came off the bench and was unreal for them, 17 points. Robbins, of course, got 14. I think all 14 of those points came in the second half. We know he had to ride the bench after picking up 2 quick fouls, and I think that was planned by Musselman to get Robbins off the floor. Once Robbins came on the floor, it was just a problem. I thought he got a little aggressive on the offensive end, throwing his elbows. The cat should have fouled out a hell of a lot sooner in that game, I'll say that. But you know what? Refs missed it, and you got to play through it. Just is what it is. What should stand out, too, is Stute, who ended up 8 for 8 at the free throw line, 15 points, 7 rebounds. He also had a couple steals and a block. That guy played out of his mind. Lawrence just trashed Arkansas. He was good at the free throw line, 5 of 7. He shot 50% field goal, 2 for 2 outside. They had 2 cats that shot at least 2 3-pointers, and they were 100%. Lawrence and Smith both went 100%. 4 for 4 between the two of them. Again, they went 29 of 36 at the free throw line. That's a key stat. That's huge. That's a shit ton of shots. I don't have to tell you guys that. That's ridiculous. And I'm going to argue a lot of them felt like just ticky-tacky bullshit calls. They did. Not that Arkansas didn't get a couple of those. Sure, they did. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is what home cooking is supposed to look like. I don't know. You tell me. But again, I'm not putting it all on officiating. I'm not. It's that effort on the floor was awful. It was terrible. It was terrible. That was the worst defensive outing I've seen by Arkansas, maybe ever under Musselman. It was just horrible. And the thing is to see it once is one thing. We've seen this defensive effort a couple of times, and then they'll counter that with a game where they play really good defense. They're wildly inconsistent. I think as a team, they're immature. I don't think they're mature. There's no rhythm to this team. It seems like always it's like one guy has to take over and do everything on the offensive end of the floor. You'll have spouts. I mean, you had 2 guys in the 20s, Black and Council. Council made 20. He had 24 points. Black had 20. Mackay had 11. That's a season high, I believe. 8 rebounds, close to a double-double. Devo had to take this thing over in the final minutes. He ended up with 17 points. I think that's a season high. I know it is in conference play. He was 0 for 3 outside. Arkansas shot 49%. Field goal percentage, 49%, 31 of 63. They were 7 of 18. That's the best three-point effort Arkansas has had, I'm pretty sure, all year. I know it is in conference play. Almost 39%, but then they go 15 of 24 at the free throw line. Bench had no impact on this game. Pinion, again, we saw he gets beat off the dribble. We see it every game when he plays. But on the offensive end of things, he went 100%. He was 2 for 2. He hit that corner pocket 3. You could tell that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to set Pinion up and have him take the game over. The problem is it doesn't feel like there's a real game plan in place for Pinion other than just get to the corner. Watch him in transition. Watch him. He just shoots for the corner. There's no plan. There's no outside ball screens. There's no plan to get him involved on the offensive end from three-point or anywhere. Now, we saw him with that drive, by the way. That was a thing of beauty. I'd love to see him develop that part of his game moving forward. They have to figure out a way to set these guys up better outside. I don't know if it's ball screens. I don't know. I don't know what it is. They have an inside presence on the offensive end of the floor. We know they're at their best when they play above the rim. Why isn't that opening things up more so for Pinion or anybody for some more uncontested shots outside? I don't understand what they're doing on the offensive end of the floor. I just don't. And 84 is nothing to be upset about. 84 points is great. I mean, this was offensively it was a really good effort, right? I mean, but 15 of their points came off of 3 free throws. Again, they went 62%. They shot overall really nice high percentage shots. Devo with that mid-range. We've been talking about it for 3 years now. Devo's mid-range shot is a thing of beauty. His defense is, he was the best defensive player on the floor once again. Devo was 6 of 14. He was 5 for 5 at the free throw line, by the way. Anthony Black shot 50% at the line. Devo is, you can't, do you give him, nobody, I'm not giving anybody MVP, but you have to give him an A for effort in that second half. He wanted to be that guy. Unfortunately, the rest of the players on the floor decided to play D- basketball. I don't know. It's frustrating to watch. I'm not going to lie to you. There was a point where I just wanted to shut the damn thing off. I'm going to do every one of these post-game shows, but if there was ever a game I just wanted to shut off in the final 2-3 minutes, it was this one. It was just ugly, gross basketball. Wasn't good. Undisciplined. Black has got to – some of these guys have got to pull their emotions out of this just a little bit, not all the way. I love players showing passion. I love that. They want to be on the floor. They want to have an impact. They want to be there for their teammates. You saw Devo stick up for his guy when he thought his guy had been wronged. You saw him kind of like cock back, like, well, he didn't cock back, but he definitely was showing a little bit of passion, sticking up for his boy. I love that. I do love that. But what led up to those events, to how that thing played out. Now Vanderbilt was in the wrong when you're talking about the 7 in a row free throws. Of course, you had the and-one by Anthony Black. And then you had the technicals. They were deserved. They were deserved. You could talk about Anthony Black towering over that player. Should he have done that? I'll let you guys decide that. Should he have towered over the player after getting the and one? I don't know, but this one was clearly, it was beyond chippy. I mean, this thing could have gotten way out of hand. And for that reason, it felt like the officials were more willing to, I mean, again, you go back and watch Homeboy. Go back and watch Robbins throwing bows, man. I mean, this guy should have been hit with a couple of early on fouls, no doubt. It kind of felt like the officials were calming things down by allowing Vanderbilt a little bit more cushion, right, in terms of the physicality on the floor. Arkansas, they were very quick to the whistle. And there were a couple of delayed whistles, sure, but it felt like they were quicker to the whistle, almost like makeup calls for how the way that first half ended. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but it certainly had that vibe. And I guess you can understand that, but Arkansas, they are to blame for the way they played today, not the officials. I agree with anybody. I'm not going to die on any hill today. I'm not going to die on the hill that officials had no impact on this game. That's bullshit. They certainly did. But I'm also going to sit here and tell you that Arkansas's play on the floor was terrible. It was bad, especially on the defensive end. How they got to 84 points, I mean, it's amazing. Vanderbilt, just not that good of a defensive team. Scrolling up, did I miss? Uh-oh. RG56 says, I bet you a Subway sandwich. We will not make the tournament. He's probably already gone. He had to go take a nap, I'm sure. Dad, your bedtime's coming up. I can't read all these comments. Ty, we need to bench Devo and start Pinion. That is a crazy take. You want to talk about you saw the defensive effort today, right? Charles is becoming. I'm gonna have to jot his name down somewhere. He's coming in with some hot takes. You're not benching Devo. In fact, Devo is the only reason why they were able to shrink that lead down late in the game. And he was playing good he was playing mostly good on both ends of the floor. We know what he is on the offensive end. We know when he drives, you hold your breath. He's either going to turn the ball over. I don't know. He's going to turn the ball over, or he's going to find a way to just knock down that mid-range jumper. Well, John, you say hard to be a villain. No, you could certainly still be a villain and be on a losing team. Absolutely, you can absolutely earn a reputation. I think what you're thinking of, Haas, is villain as a team, and Arkansas is not a villain as a team because, like you said, they don't have the wins. As a player, you can absolutely earn a reputation. Ty Nick Smith Jr. is a bucket. He can open up the floor. He is a pro. Side note: Ricky Council takes a game off. He can't be counted on by consistent. Steve, I have a hard time buying that one player is going to fix this entire thing. I think there's just too many things going on here. And I'm not saying – what I mean is, like, he's not going to come in. Let's say February, whenever their first game is in February. I have a new calendar here. They play – is it the 4th? My God. At South Carolina. I think it's going to be a slow transition. I think you're going to have to figure out how to get the chemistry flowing, and I think over time he's going to have a major impact, but he's not going to fix all the problems. I don't know what Kyle Schrum disagrees about, but he disagrees about something. I'd love it if you guys would follow up with what it is you're talking about. Can you SEC play on how? Yeah, see, I don't know what you're talking about, but I think the two things can be true at once. You can have horrible defensive efficiency, horrible defensive play, and still have officials have an impact on the game. You'll have to follow that up in Discord. I don't know what you're talking about. We just got teabagged by a 500 team. Yeah, they had a player ejected in the second half. Sure did. Oh, did I miss a super chat? I scrolled up. I didn't see one. Oh, there we go. My bad. Sorry, this chat, a lot going on. How is Walsh projected to be a first-round pick? What does he do well? Well, I mean, again, he's a guy, pretty good reach, great on- and off-ball defense. He just doesn't always play smart. I say give Walsh time. I get what you're saying. I think sometimes we just put too much pressure on these freshmen and expect them to come in and play like 5 stars. Like, that's the expectation. He's a McDonald's All-American. Why aren't we getting that on the floor? Sometimes who you play does matter. I don't know that Vanderbilt should have been in that category. I don't think Walsh played very good. We'll revisit the Walsh story. We'll revisit Walsh, Terser. I promise we will. We'll revisit all these players. We'll reassess come February. We're going to reassess a lot. We're going to talk about a lot more. I already have a note on Discord. We're going to reassess and kind of reevaluate some of this, where these players are at. We're going to look at draft stock. We're going to see what other people are saying about these players. Walsh right now, I kind of feel like, he does have some strengths. Again, I think he can be. His ceiling is, I think, Devo-level defensive player. Absolutely. And he can also create turnovers. He can force mistakes. He clogs up passing lanes. He can alter shots. I think his potential offensively, we just haven't seen it yet. We've seen spurts of Walsh's offensive ability over the season, but we haven't seen it consistently. We haven't seen him string together 2, 3, 4 games in a row where he's on the offensive end of the floor making plays, making things happen. We're just gonna have to reevaluate a lot of what's going on. If AB hadn't have done that, we wouldn't have had them free throws. That's a good point. We've got to start capitalizing off turnovers. Wish we had Note. Dude could score from anywhere. Yeah, Note was a 3-level scorer. Note could. He was a cat that could take things over on the offensive end of the floor. Absolutely. Nightmare second half for Arkansas. Yeah, losing to a really bad Vanderbilt. I don't know if they're really bad. I mean, you got to remember they led Tennessee. They led Tennessee in the first half and ended up losing that game. And that was on the road, if I recall. They ended up only losing by 8 or 9 points to Tennessee. Now, Tennessee lost today to Kentucky, which kind of blows my mind. Again, sometimes you have teams that can just win with having the kind of talent that Kentucky has. I watched a little bit of that second half. Sheboy could still be a problem. He alters shots, comes down with physical rebounds. Sure could use Mason out there, that's for sure. I don't argue with that either, Steven. Yeah. Isaiah Joe. Oh, my God. They need someone with some outside presence, man. More consistent outside presence on the floor. Note also had extremely inefficient nights. Boy, every time you bring up JD Note, there's just someone who's got to say something back negative. If you don't think Note would have had a good night tonight, you're crazy. I think Note absolutely. These are the kinds of games you would see Note flourish in. I just disagree. Was he always consistent? There's not very many players that are. Arkansas held a top 3 draft pick to 0 points in the first half last game, or against Bama. And he got most of his points, or the beginning of his comeback in the second half came at the free throw line. I think his first 4 or 6 points came at the free throw line. Everyone is capable of having an off night, but yeah, you could have used JD Note, Isaiah Joe, Amude. I would argue tonight with that matchup they had with a certain Vanderbilt big, you'd love to have seen someone like Justin Smith. Note equals dog. That's the difference. Absolutely. Dude he just had that mindset. I mean, I don't know what it was. He just had it in him. Yeah, Council's not Note. Nobody's saying that. Sean Sanders says, nah, bro. Talking to Kyle, nah, bro. Note was clutch. Yes. Without Note last year, we're cooked. We need more offense, period, says Brian Frazier, and I agree. They need to find it somewhere. They're going to have to put on their big boy pants and get this thing figured out. You've still got too much talent to lose to teams like Vanderbilt. I don't care if it was on the road or not. I don't care. No excuse for what happened today. Just not good basketball, period. Note put up 30-plus in the team on his back many nights. He had, I don't know how many 30-plus games he had. I think he had a couple, didn't he? Council is Note. Oh, Johnny, come on, man. Come on. I mean, Council has it in him to be a dog, but he disappears in the final minutes of a game, my guy. He disappears. He might knock down a bucket or two in the final 5 minutes. He might find a way to get to the free throw line, but he disappears. And that's the difference I think people are just missing. Arkansas doesn't really have that guy. We saw a little bit of it tonight from Devo. I don't know. No leadership on the court, and that is key. And I think that is a very good point by Haas. I wish I could throw that up on the screen. That's a very good point. I don't see a leader on the floor. I don't see the guy, Black is supposed to be your point guard, supposed to be your leader, your commander on the floor. Now, that's not always the case. It's typically an upperclassman. Devo, I think, should be that guy. Maybe he is. We just don't see it. It doesn't look like they have that leader on the floor, a guy that really reins things in. Again, I think they're just missing a lot of pieces. Have we heard of setting a back screen to get someone open? Going back to what I said about Pinion, where is I don't know. It's frustrating, man. Definitely thought Arkansas was going to win this one. I thought it was going to be a +6, +8 kind of game. Yeah, offensive identity is just kind of up in the air right now. And the other frustrating thing, too, is like you'd knock down. I mean, they had their first – someone please fact check me on this. In conference play, Arkansas had their first back-to-back 2 straight possessions of 3-point shots. Tell me, am I wrong on that? I think that's right. They had their first I mean, that feels like a little bit of a celebration. You got to celebrate the small things with this team. Oh, Kyle, I just kind of want to mute you. We're not even through the season. Kyle, again, you're missing the point, my guy. Where is he in the final minutes of a game when you need him the most? Where is he? And he's not taken games over so far. I mean, he's had some great moments. I'm not shitting on Council at all. He's been a leading scorer. He's a third leading scorer in the SEC, for crying out loud. But where is he in the final minutes of a game? I don't know if he has that dog in him either. I just don't know that he has it. I've certainly not seen it. Where is he in the final minutes? What are his points in SEC play? What are his points in the final 4 minutes? Am I missing something? Maybe I'm just overlooking. That's the difference between he and JD Note. That's the difference. This is Snort King. I think Kyle might be Snort King. It kind of feels like it. Needing a missing person report. Ricky Council has lots of points, but you forget about him. I'm with Ty for sure. I think everybody's missing the most obvious thing. They did not play hard in the second half. Yeah, no, I think you're right, Marco. I agree, my man. Shit, give me BJ Young. Yeah. Well, and I don't want anyone to get it twisted. I do think that I do think when Nick Smith, if he comes back, and I think he's going to, I feel like he's going to, it's going to be a major impact for sure. I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that Nick Smith is not going to be, I've sat here and told you guys, he's the king on the chessboard. He's a huge piece. Absolutely will have an impact. You have to change defensively how you deal with Arkansas with someone like a healthy Nick Smith on the floor, without a doubt. I think it's going to be a slow process. If we're talking about the month of February, you better hope you're still in this thing. You better hope you're still in the tournament conversation, not bubble. You better hope you're in the tournament conversation, because I think it's going to be a slow, kind of a drag to get to where you want to be in terms of chemistry and nailing down the rotation at that point. He's going to have a major impact. I mean, you are talking about a lottery pick. What I am saying also is I think there are so many issues with this team. I don't know that Nick Smith comes in and solves all of them. You talk about needing a leader on the floor. You talk about, a little bit more, better, more consistent defensive play. Well, he doesn't play all 5 positions on either side of the floor. He can't play he's not your forward. He's not your center. He's not, he's not an inside glue guy, right? He's not Jalen Williams. He's not, I don't think he's an Isaiah Joe outside lockdown consistent shooter. But what he does and what he offers, are important things. There's certainly some things about him. His ability to drive, knock down jump shots. He can knock down outside shots. I'm not saying he's not a good 3-point shooter. He could score on all 3 levels. We just haven't seen enough from him defensively to make a pure judgment on what he is as a defensive player. It's going to be a slow kind of a build-up, right? And then eventually, again, if he's fully healthy, 100% recovered, and they find a way to gel into the final weeks of the season, Arkansas could become, I think they still have it in them to become dangerous. I still think they have it in them to finish somewhere in the top 4 in the SEC and still get a decent seeding. Right now, you're kind of fighting. You feel like, even though I don't think it's the case, you certainly feel like you're fighting for your tournament life right now. It's still way too early to say something like that, but with what we've seen with the inconsistency, again, you're kind of holding your breath with Nick Smith's return. I don't know. We'll have to come back, like I said earlier, and just reassess what we've seen and where we're at that point whenever we decide to do that. Maybe that's February when Nick Smith, when we know for sure Nick Smith is coming back or whatever, if he is or isn't. It does feel like they are desperate for Nick Smith. And like I said, I think it was last week, maybe the week before last, that's not the position you want to be in. You don't want to be in a position where you're so desperate you feel like Nick Smith can answer all your problems. And it's starting to look like that's where fans are at. And it's starting to look like the team on the floor, and it's starting to look like the coaching staff. That just might be something they're doing. It's kind of holding their breath for Nick Smith's return. But that's not a good situation to be in. That's not a good situation to be in. And that's also putting a lot on him as well. I do think you don't overlook a lottery pick. I know I'm going to get some jackass later coming at me over the comments I made, but I think there's truth in it. Nick Smith is he's not the end all be all, but he's going to have a huge impact on this team. You're better with Nick Smith. We all know that. You're better with Nick Smith. But right now they need to focus on getting things fixed without him, and they have to have that in their minds. We have to fix what's going on with this team. Without just thinking about the idea of him coming back cannot even be on your minds right now. You need to fix with what you need to make what you have now work. That way, when Nick Smith does enter the picture, man, you're setting pretty. I just don't know. I just don't know if they can do it. I don't know. We have seen Muss work miracles. Both years he made the Elite Eight. They weren't supposed to. Remember, they weren't supposed to do that, and they did it. Typically when you start off 1-3, you do get looked down on, right, by the national media. I'm surprised Arkansas didn't fall more, actually, when they started off 1-3. I was kind of shocked they didn't fall out of the top 20. But now you're 1-4. Now you've got a lot more doubters than you had this morning. You got a lot more doubters, and a lot of those, unfortunately, are going to include Razorback fans. Right now, I'm on the fence. I would argue with the way they're playing right now, that's not a tournament team. They're not. I'm not saying they're not making the tournament, but with the way they're playing right now, that's not a tournament team. That's not even an NIT team. That's a team that's going to end their season after the SEC conference tournament if they don't get this thing figured out and turned around. Too much talent on the bench and on the damn floor to be where they're at right now, but here we are. So, having said all that, I know there's dark clouds above this program right now. A lot to be not excited about at the moment. I've got a cigar with my name on it and a bottle of rum. I think that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. Maybe watching some college basketball and drinking some rum, smoking a cigar. Might play some video games, take my mind off of what happened. I will not be live on Monday at the moment unless they have some huge news. You guys know how I am. I'll tell you I'm not, and then I end up doing it. But right now, just don't plan on me to go live. If I do, I'll update you in our Discord. I appreciate the links being shared. I appreciate John Hawes sharing the Patreon and the Discord link. Shout out to our show sponsor and to you guys that are here live. Remember, if you're confused as to why you're unable to participate in chat, you have to be a subscriber. Shout out to our new member, by the way. I don't know how to look. There's no way for me to. Goodness. There's no way for me to. Roy Davenport, who became the first member. I think it's $1.99, I think, to be a member. I was just kind of fooling around with it. There you go, man. Shout out to Roy Davenport for being a member. So, and of course, Patreon supporters, could please know that I really do appreciate you guys. Certain players need to play more. Well, we did see Ford tonight, by the way. We saw Ford. He got like a minute, but we did see Ford. They ended up with a 10-man rotation. He ended up with 17 minutes? No. Did he really? Am I seeing this right? Hold up. He got 17 minutes? Bro. That can't be right. Razorbacks.com says he got 16 minutes. Well, I'll be damned. That was a quiet as 16 minutes. I saw him on the floor, but it felt like it went by so fast. What did he do? He turned the ball over, and he had a foul. I saw him on the floor. I just didn't realize it was that long. I'll be damned. Ty, I'm a member, bro. Oh, you really? I apologize. I only see one. I mean, I'll have to look at it again. It shows one. It says members 1 on my screen. There's YouTube members and there's Patreon, right? Two different. I don't know if maybe that's what you're talking about. I didn't see it. I don't know why YouTube. If you did, I don't know why it didn't alert me. I'll check that out though. I do appreciate you, Brian. That's wrong. He only played 3 minutes. Says Taiwan Porter. Yeah. Razorbacks.com is showing 16 minutes. Bro, that has to be a mistake. Darian Ford, 23. 16 minutes. Let me refresh this. There's no way that's right. So, I mean, they do get it wrong from time to time. I would have guessed like 5 minutes. Yeah, no, they're showing 16 minutes. There's no way that's right. We're going to have to, tweet Razorback. Who would take care of that? Communications? No, that's media. I don't know. Contact someone on Twitter and be like, whoa, there's no way that guy got 16 minutes tonight. There's no way. I don't know. Maybe they'll fix it and we'll talk. We'll see if they correct it later on. Anyways, that's going to do it. I do appreciate you guys. Tough night, tough day. Like I said, I've got a cigar and a bottle of rum with my name on it. I'm going to watch some college basketball, maybe play some video games. Let this night just try to forget this day. So, 63 points in the second half. Yeah, it was ugly, Kenny. It was ugly. It was terrible. Oh, man. All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And, again, I'll see you probably on Wednesday. Woo pig.
At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.